1, Keenan Allen for sale, lightly used condition, maybe call that heavily used. End of the day, the best offer gets him. Let's see who wins the auction. Welcome back into Off the Wire, the series where I take a dynasty startup draft where I drafted not a single player and try and turn the team around from the waiver wire alone. This is episode 7 and it is going pretty well so far. The team is still not looking amazing, but we are starting to get some really interesting picks and a few interesting players. And now that camp hype season is really happening and the pre-season is starting as well, there's a chance that some of our players might be on the upturn and we might be able to really start making a profit. In this episode, I'm going to talk you through an auction that I hosted over the last couple of days for Keenan Allen. And I'll let you know what I got and you can tell me whether or not I took the right offer. But we're going to start off. I've had a little bit of feedback from people saying they'd like to see the team early on in the video. So let's do a little bit of a refresh on how the team is looking. I'm going to hold off on showing you some of it so that you don't get spoiled for what I got for Keenan Allen. I promise I'm not doing the you'll have to stay till the end of the episode to see that, but I'd like you to stay a little bit longer and see what I ended up getting. So I'm going to put the team up so you guys can have a bit of a look. So you can obviously see that it is lacking at the quarterback position. It's lacking at every position, if I'm honest with you. So our QB1 currently in the QB1 slot, we have Kirk Cousins, the backup quarterback for the Atlanta Falcons. At running back, we have Blake Corum and we have Roschon Johnson currently as the starters. Our starters at wide receiver, Christian Kirk and Adam Thielen. Then we have Brenton Strange. We have Theo Johnson at tight end, currently in the flex as well, and Jordan Whittington. On the bench, we have a few depth options, some of which I quite like. We have Joe Milton. We have Kenny Pickett at quarterback. So a quarterback room, Kirk Cousins, Joe Milton, Kenny Pickett. Not fantastic, but that's kind of the gist of the series, isn't it? Then at running back, we have Keaton Mitchell. Now, Keaton Mitchell absolutely went off in the first preseason game for the Baltimore Ravens last night, so that's a really interesting one. I'm glad we have him on the team, and let me know down below if you think I should be looking to move on from Keaton Mitchell. Then we have a load of wide receivers. So Dante Thornton, I added off the waiver wire. Amari Cooper, we still have, waiting for him to sign with someone, and then maybe we can try for a similar offer that we got for Keenan Allen. Maybe I'll do another auction. We then have Deontay Johnson. He's potentially a cut candidate. Elijah Moore, potentially a cut candidate. Romeo Doubs is someone that I think has really shown out in camp, so he could be a linchpin of our team. And then Ben Sinner, another high potential tight end on the bench who could see an uptick in value this season if he can take some of that workload from Zach Ertz. I think he's a nice asset for our team. So that's the way the team looks currently. We do also have a few players on the taxi squad. So we have Brashard Smith, one of my favourite running back prospects. We have Torrey Horton. Now, when I spoke about camp hype, Torrey Horton has been running with the ones in camp. He has been functioning as that deep threat wide receiver over Marquez Valdes-Scantling. So Torrey Horton is someone I definitely want to hold on to and see if we can get better value from him in season, especially because of that matchup with Sam Darnold's skill set and the fact that he's probably going to be the specified deep threat on the team. I think this is someone we could get a really nice offer for later on down the line. Then we have Elik Ayomanor as well. There's a few players on there that I think potentially we could drop. There's not a huge amount on the waiver wire. Maybe when we look to the next episode, I'll do a big run through the waiver wire and you can see if there's anyone there that you really think I should be picking up. So, the Keenan Allen auction. Keenan Allen just signed with the Chargers back for a 1-year deal for $8.5 million. And given that I had Keenan Allen on my roster, I thought this was a great chance to build some momentum, to make a move, and to try and get some good value out of him. Now, maybe it would have been better for me to wait in season, but to be honest, first of all, I really wanted to start getting some action going in the league, to start getting some moves being made, and to start sparking some interest, because things in the off-season are always a little bit stale. So I really just wanted to make sure that I could get some things happening and get some things going. The other thing is that I'm not confident whether or not Keenan Allen is going to have a huge role on this team. The money that they've given him would probably imply that they will have a role for him, and some of the injuries you've seen elsewhere might mean that there's potential for him to be the starting slot receiver. Maybe they want to move Lad McConkey out wide or have him as that Z movable chess piece with Trey Harris lining up on the outside. But anyway, I thought now was the right time to try and get some value out of Keenan Allen. So the way I went about it is I posted in the chat, Keenan Allen is now available. I'm going to host an auction for him. The best offer wins, and I'm going to sell him tomorrow night. So tomorrow at 7 p.m. UK time, I'm going to sell him, whatever the best offer is. This is one of my favourite strategies to do because it makes people think, first of all, I might be able to get him on the cheap. If he said he's gonna, there's no minimum offer. If the biggest offer had been one fab, I would have had to accept it. So I think maybe I'll be able to get him on the cheap, but also it lets the whole league know that a player is available and they bid against each other to start to drive the offers up. I had my first offer through in the chat immediately from someone saying, I'm going to bid 4 fab, 4 waiver wire dollars. And at that point I thought, we might be in for a little bit of a rough ride here, but thankfully, I then had an offer through for a 2026 third. Now, that is probably not far off fair value for Keenan Allen. I probably would take a third or a second third on top, a couple of threes for Keenan Allen for a receiver approaching his mid-30s. Probably not too bad. So there you go. We are underway. The auction is happening. We are going to move Keenan Allen. I started prompting around the league a little bit and started going to people to get some interest and say, are you interested in Keenan? You could do with a win now piece. You've got some younger players on your roster. You could do with someone you need to start now. And the general consensus was Keenan Allen is too old. I'm not interested. Maybe not ideal. But I then had my second offer through, which was Keenan Allen and a 2026 third for Rashid Shaheed. Now, I think this is probably a slightly better offer than just the third on its own, but Shaheed isn't someone I'm particularly confident in having on my team. Some people rate him really highly right now, some people not so much, but for me, I wasn't really willing to take the gamble, but it was then the top offer. So that is where we are now, getting Rashid Shaheed for Keenan Allen and a 2026 third, but I didn't feel great about it. So I started negotiating with him. He also had Chris Godwin and George Pickens. And I thought, maybe I can use Keenan Allen to try and get one of those players instead. And the offer that came back to me was Keenan Allen and a 2026 second, of which I have 2, for Chris Godwin and my choice of Tyrod Taylor, or I think it was Malik Willis. And I immediately thought, well, Chris Godwin is way more valuable than Keenan Allen, but do I think he's a second round pick more valuable? For where my team is right now, I might be able to flog Chris Godwin for more in season, but I could probably do with keeping the second. So ultimately, and let me know if you think I was wrong here, I decided to turn that offer down. And I thought, do you know what? I would like to get Chris Godwin, but not for those prices. So we still were leading with the offer of Keenan Allen. I'm going to say Keenan Allen's name a million times in this video. It's starting to just feel like a noise. Keenan Allen, and a 2026 third for Rashid Shaheed. So I started reaching out to some more people who'd expressed interest previously, and I tried to negotiate for an offer for either Brandon Ayuk or Jordan Addison. And these are 2 players that I'm going to look to try and make a move for regardless. Anyone who's suspended, who's on PUP, I'm going to see if I can make that happen. But unfortunately, even with the offer of one of my seconds on top, that was turned down. We started approaching crunch time in the auction. We started approaching the time of a deal's going to get done, and I wasn't sure how I was feeling about Rashid Shaheed. But then a final offer comes through. The original guy who offered the 2026 third for Keenan Allen offered Allen and one of my late thirds that I got from someone else for a 2026 second. This was the top offer to me. I'd prefer the 2026 second to Rashid Shaheed with where my team is, and I don't mind giving up a 3 to go up and get there. So that was it. Auction over. Bell rings. Hammer goes down. That's a hammer. That's not a bell. That's a bell. That's a hammer. The hammer goes down. We have a winner. we have sold Keenan Allen for a 2026 second round pick with a hopefully late third going back. It's one of the thirds I got from someone else. Their team looks really strong, so hopefully I've moved up a whole round by selling off Keenan Allen. And that now puts me going into next season with 3 second round picks. And considering where this team started, considering the complete lack of options that we have before the season has even started, we're still a month away from football, and I've got myself 3 second round picks. I am absolutely buzzing for that. That is going to do it for this week's episode. That was the auction. Let me know if there's any players on my team that you think I should consider auctioning off, because this strategy seemed to work. Let me know if there's people that you want me to see if they're on the waiver wire. I know that I think it's Keandre Lambert-Smith is on the waiver wire, and he's someone that people are really interested in. So let me know if you think I should drop someone for him. And let me know if you think I made a good deal. Should I have waited on Keenan Allen? Or was that a good offer that I ended up accepting? I'm buzzing to have 3 second round picks heading into next season. Thanks so much for watching. Please consider subscribing to the channel if you want to see more of this content, and I'll see you in the next one.